Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about a conventional drinking water treatment plant and showing all the steps to make sure that the water is safe to drink for the consumer. So first off, let's see where our water comes from. As you can see, the water that came straight from our source is pretty turbid. It's got a lot of TDS and a lot of stuff inside it. It's no good for drinking. Could possibly cause some harm to people who did drink it. So let's talk about the steps and processes used to filter this water. So now that we have our source water, the first step we want to do is coagulation. And basically what that means is we're going to take the larger particles and we're going to bind them today we're going to be using aluminum sulfate. And so that's a positively charged particle, and that's going to bind with the negatively charged particles inside the source water. So as you can see, I'm going to do a little demo here. Here's our source water. Adding this stuff. Okay. And so what that should do is that should bind with the particles in the water and create coagulants, or it'll coagulate the constituents in the water. And those coagulated substances are going to be called floc, and then we'll filter those out, and you'll see in just a moment. So as you can see, the aluminum sulfate created these larger particles. We call those floc. That's the flocculation right there. And what that does is it allows for larger particles, which increases settling time, which brings us to the next step, sedimentation, which is essentially just allowing those particles to settle to the bottom of the tank, and then the clear water will filter through it. So to give you a better visual, the sedimentation chamber, it's going to show these floc, how they settle to the bottom, and so that's going to allow the water to continue on from the top. It's going to overflow and then move on to the next step, which is filtration. So after the floc has settled, the water will then move on to what's called the filtration stage. So as you can see, there's still some debris, still has some TDS within the water. And so the next step would be to remove it using filtration. So in a larger scale, they would do something a little different, but what we have here is this cup, this coffee filter. We have pebbles at the bottom, some smaller rocks, and at the top we have sand, which is actually commonly used in the treatment facility plants. So sand will capture and filter out a lot of the smaller particles, but this does not get rid of any bacteria. So for bacteria, there's a different process. We'll get to that, but for now we'll do the filtration. All right, here's our filtration process at work. This is a pretty slow process right here, but it's important to clean out the water. It's overflowing. But as you can see, the water's coming out already a lot clearer than what we started with. All right, let's move on to the next stage. So now that we did all those processes like coagulation, flocculation, sedimentation, And filtration, water's looking pretty clear. It's safe to drink, right? No. The next step, we have to disinfect it, because although we did all those processes, there's still some pathogens and bacteria that could still be living in that water. So for today, we're going to be using something called UV, which is a light. UV disinfects pretty much all pathogens. There are no known downsides to it. Other methods involve using chlorine gas, chlorine dioxide, chloramides. And so today we're going to be looking at UV. As you can see, this is what we do. Just shine some light through it. Shine some UV light. And look at all the pathogens just wither away. All right. So now that we've successfully gone through the drinking water treatment plant, now it's safe to drink our water. Have a good day.